the iPhone was a totally new value proposition in the ability to provide the platform for applications. It was just a whole different proposition. Is anybody aware of in 2011, RIM came out with the playbook? Do you know what the problem with the playbook was? You couldn't do email. This is a company based on email, and they didn't have email in the playbook. So it's kind of a problem of playing catch-up, right, to Apple. Now, on the flip side, and everybody knows Apple. Now, I don't know how much you know this story, but it's interesting that there was a great juxtaposition to RIM's demise, which is sort of the story of being caught flat-footed, to Apple's ascension, which wasn't just, hey, you know, here comes an iPod, and then iTunes, and then here comes an iPhone, and then iPad. The interesting part of the story is that when Steve Jobs took over in the late 1990s, or took back over, you know, that it quickly ended up being pretty much a bloodbath for the computer industry, right? The personal computers. And, you know, the CEO of Gateway even said, you know what? I basically capitulate. Computers are a commodity. You know, it's going to be a tough dog-eat-dog business. Steve Jobs refused to believe that. So he brought his top 100 lieutenants together, and he looked out into 2010, thereabouts, and he could imagine what became the digital hub strategy. He said, we could imagine bringing collaboration, that this computer can be the enablement of a whole bunch of devices, that the microprocessing power of the computer can enable these devices to be more elegant. We can write our own elegant software so that the brains do not have to be in these devices, but we can enable these devices. And by doing that, we can really reverse commoditization, and we can capture a whole different part of sort of the value equation. So you can see here an early Rio MP3 player on the left, CD players, camcorders, personal digital assistants, and so forth. You know, it was a pretty amazing strategy. What was even more amazing, though, in the concept of transformation is this is what he didn't advertise, is that, well, why can't we get into this consumer electronics business ourselves? So we're not only creating a digital hub platform, but we're enabling all these other devices. And, of course, the rest is history, and we know the story, and it's been repeated hundreds of times. My only point of bringing it up is just to make one important point, which is that Steve Jobs and his team employed future back, that they looked out 10 years, and they were able to come up with a vision